Hi, I'm a special education teacher and I co-teach with a regular ed second grade teacher. We like to incorporate technology into our teaching practices as often as we can. We find our students are more motivated and invested in the learning. An activity such as an interactive Jeopardy board game using the Smartboard also fosters an environment where students are self-managing their own learning because they are so engaged. We typically use Jeopardy to review end-of-unit content, such as review of math skills and concepts before the post-assessment. This particular unit, we were reviewing skills related to measurement. As you can see at the top of the board, we have 5 categories: measuring using a ruler, word problems, comparing measurements, what would you use to measure, so more real-life application problems, and addition problems. A lot of the problems you should know have questions and visuals related to autumn activities such as pumpkins or turkeys, since we were reviewing this unit in the fall. The class is divided into 2 teams and scores are kept at the top of the Jeopardy board game. The template is projected onto the Smartboard and students and teachers can manipulate the board by touch. And so now I'm going to take you through the Jeopardy board. You should also know that it's not a typical Jeopardy game. We like it because it's interactive and we're reviewing end-of-unit content. However, the questions are not statements that the students have to respond with questions. They are questions that the students just have to answer, since our purpose is reviewing content rather than rephrasing the statement in a question. So now I'm going to take you through it. Let's say we're doing measuring using a ruler for 200. And it's going to take you to the appropriate page, measuring using a number line for 200. So it has the question and the tools you might need to solve the problem. Often we embed interactive tools for the students to help solve the problem, as you see here with the ruler. So Tom Turkey trotted 6 steps forward on the number line. He started at 2. Then Tom trotted 4 steps back. Where did he stop? Use the number line to show what he did. So the student would come up and leave Tom here, but move the arrow. So if he starts at 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he trotted 4 steps back. You can then use the arrow to move it back to help them count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So where did he stop? He stopped at 4. For students to check their answers, they would then move the purple box on the lower left-hand side of the template to see if they are correct. And so we are. You move it back, and then they would click Jeopardy board on the right-hand side, and that would take you back to the home page. The student then earns 200 points for his or her team and notes it on the scoreboard. Say there he's here, that student is representing team 1. You would put the 2 there to represent 200. And then it is the other team's turn to go. At this time, I'll take you through some of the other categories to see some of the questions and answers so you can get an idea of what the students would be working on. Let's say we did word problems for 300. So you have a word problem here, and this is asks you to answer it in 2 parts. So Stevie and John had a contest to see who could jump the furthest. Stevie jumped 75 centimeters. John jumped 23 more centimeters than Stevie. How far did John jump? And then who won the jumping contest? So that comes in 2 parts. If we did comparing measurements for 400, it's another one with an interactive tool where it looks like the students would have to measure the heights of the two pumpkins and then find the difference between pumpkin A and pumpkin B. What would you use to measure for 300? What unit would you measure? So the length of the kitten. So students would have been exposed to different types of units, and they have to think what would be the appropriate tool that they would use to measure that item. Addition for 500. So this one asks them, they'll have to know how many centimeters are in a meter to be able to solve this problem. So using the knowledge of two units to solve the problem correctly. As you can see, there's an array of measurement questions that are real world applicable. So they're a high level interest for our students. The questions increase with difficulty as the higher the points. Most of our students begin by selecting 500 point questions. Students have the option of writing their responses right on the smartboard, and then all other students are encouraged to show their math thinking in their journal so that everyone is participating. We find that this is a great way to incorporate technology into the classroom where students are of all learning modalities can benefit, and it's highly engaging for students and they're invested in the learning process. So we've found great success with this type of technology.